Hello and welcome. We are in Genesis chapter 14, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the chapter heading Lot is captured in the battles of the kings. He is rescued by Abram. Melchizedek administers bread and wine and blesses Abram. Abram pays tithes. He declines to accept the spoils of conquest. And verse 1 And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, and Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations. And verse 2 That these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Bersha, king of Gomorrah, and Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemeber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zor. It's so interesting that the Tower of Babel had this strong of an effect on the people of early Genesis. And it's really it's really um it's really interesting to see because it's almost like um if we follow it in an evolutionary sense of things that if if every if every descendant spoke the same language, that there like nothing would stop them from accomplishing what they want, of course. And God saw this, but God wanted them to see how carnal they still were, and so he did the Tower of Babel. And so now you get all these wars. And we're going to go into verse 3. All these were joined together in the Vale of Siddim, which is the Sorry, that was an alarm. Verse 3. All these were joined together in the Vale of Siddim, which is the salt of the sea. Verse 4. 12 years they served Chedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. And verse 5. And in the 14th year came Chedorlaomer, the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims, and the Ashtaroth Karnaim, and the Zuzims in Ham, and the Emims in Shevev Kirithaim. And verse 6 And the Horites in their mounts of Seir unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness. And verse 7 And they returned and came to En Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all of the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites that dwell in the Hezazon Tamar. And verse 8 And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, and they joined battle with them in the Vale of Siddim. And if we go back to Genesis 13 for a second, that same verse I was talking about, in Genesis 13 it says, Genesis 13 verse 13 says, But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. So now it's like the kings of Sodom, king of Sodom in verse 8 of Genesis 14, going to war against other. It almost makes me want to laugh because the people of Sodom were already so evil that war probably excited them. And we're gonna keep going. Um, verse verse 9 says, With Chedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and with Tidal, king of nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar, 4 kings with 5. And verse 10 And the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, and fell there. And they remained fell to the mountain. Oh, wow. They were like tar pits or something. It was like a valley of tar pits. That's interesting. And the kings fled and some fell there. Interesting. And verse 11, they all took they took all their goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their victuals and went their way. In verse 12, and they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. Verse 13, and there came one that had escaped, and told Abram in the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, the brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram. And verse 14, and when Abram heard that this brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them into Dan. In verse 15, and he divided himself against them, and he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. So there's all this war going on with so many kings, and there's a pursuit now that goes across a huge stretch of valleys and even cities or lands. Yeah, the land of Damascus, hand of Damascus. And verse 16, and he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people. Verse 17, and the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from slaughter of Chedorlaomer, and the kings that were with him at the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. It's interesting. I think Melchizedek is cool because he's not just a priest of the Most High God, he's also a king, which is interesting. All right, verse 19. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram, the Most High God, Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. Sorry, that verse I need to read again. Verse 19 again. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abraham of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. Verse 20. And blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thine hand. And he gave unto him tithes of all. And verse 21, and the kings of Sodom said unto Abraham, Give me the persons, and take the goods to thyself. And verse 22, and Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up mine hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth. Verse 23, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich. And verse 24, save only which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the man went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, and let them take their portion. So in the end of Genesis chapter 14, Abraham is saying, I will not take your goods, but allow me to take some of your people with me, and we will take our portions as they are. I will use what I have, and I need nothing more. So that was the end of Genesis chapter 14. We're going to head into Genesis chapter 15. Thank you for watching this live stream.